Good evening to you all. I am Dr. Vasantha Kumari, IMA-AMS Chairman, Telangana State. I cordially welcome you all for today's webinar on the occasion of World Breastfeeding Week celebrations in association with IAP-PATS and IMA-AMS headquarters. This is our 22nd webinar since January. For today's webinar, we have two speakers. First speaker, Dr. Tripura Sundari Madam, retired professor, HOD at KIMS Hospital, Hyderabad. Second speaker, Dr. M. Surendranath, HOD St. Teresa's Hospital, Hyderabad. And moderator, Dr. Yashwant Rao, IAP and PATS member. I request you all to mute yourself so that there won't be any disturbance. Thank you. I welcome Dr. Lakshmi Prasanna, gynecologist from Warangal, to introduce the first speaker, Dr. Tripura Sundari Madam. Over to you, Lakshmi Prasanna.
Thank you, madam, and good evening, everyone. I'm very happy and thank you for giving me opportunity to introduce my Guru Garu, Dr. Tripura Sundari Madam, who is Professor and HOD KIMS Hospital, Hyderabad, and formerly HOD Gandhi Medical College, where I did my post-graduation under her guidance. She is the daring and dashing surgeon. She never sees tense when she is attending her emergencies. That's a great character of her. At the same time, she's very humble and good teacher, guides her juniors in a correct pathway, and always boosts positively her juniors in their work. She's also past president, Hyderabad Menopause Society, chairperson, Oncology Committee, peer reviewer of the journal, examiner, and the paper sector of National Board. I welcome you, ma'am, and take your this thing and continue our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakshmi Prasanna, for the nice introduction.
Thank you, ma'am.
And I'm very happy I'm with you. I thank IMA for giving me an opportunity to talk to you all today. Very important day, that is the breast milk week. So breastfeeding week. Breastfeeding week, we all know, is every year it is celebrated from August 1st to August 8th, and today we are here to celebrate this year. Enabling breastfeeding, making a difference for working women. We all know, we all went through that phase of having children, not able to feed a babies in time. See, I had my children when I was doing my post-graduation, and those days we never had the opportunity to take 6 months leave to write the exam after 6 months or next session. We had only 1 month leave. So I had a section on April 6th, and May 5th I went and reported giving my child with my mother, and those were the days we all struggled. So this should not happen. So the mother and the baby should always be together, should be happy, and that bonding should always be there. You all know the benefits of breastfeeding. Breast milk provides ideal nutrition for babies. Colostrum is full of proteins and antibodies, protects babies against short and long-term illnesses and diseases. It lowers the risk of fast type 1 diabetes, sudden infant syndrome. Breastfed babies are also less likely to have ear infections, stomach bugs, or strong bonding with mother and child. And for coming to mother, weight loss, amenorrhea, corrects anemia and contraception, though it is not 100% foolproof. For 6 months, it is amenorrhea can be used. The galactic method can be used for contraception. It also prevents in long run the ovarian breast cancer. Women who breastfeed have a lower risk of high blood pressure, arthritis, it lowers the cholesterol, heart. That is the trusted source of diabetes. Is all the benefits, long-term benefits of feeding, and it's very economical, as you know. You do not buy the formula powder every week, and it shows, you know, the baby has taken already 5 teas. We're bringing 1 box full within 5 days or 1 week. All that calculation not be there. So all the benefits of breastfeeding of a child. So each year the world celebrates first World Breastfeeding Week from August 1st to 8th. A global campaign aimed at promoting and supporting breastfeeding. This year the focus is on enabling breastfeeding, make a difference for working parents. See, we are progressing, education is improving, marriages are getting delayed. We have more and more people who are in the working So they're really struggling to balance between the mother work and the feeding babies. So this is a very relevant and an important factor that has been thought of by the people. This theme represents a golden opportunity to demonstrate that breastfeeding is not only a matter of concern of mother and child. Breastfeeding also a great way to support economies. Breastfeeding and use of human milk have economic benefits. See, there are even breast milk banks are there available now, and reduce healthcare costs by declining the incidence of illness and need for medical treatment to the babies. And to make breastfeeding successful, though, families need to be able to combine breastfeeding with milk, because we need money and we need money to work. So we should not sacrifice the child her right to have breast milk and go for the thing. How many working women breastfeed? Of the one shift, non-shift workers, of course, they are having 87% breastfeeding during maternity. The breastfeeding rates of returning to work were 24% but up to 6 months, and 36% only after more than 6 months. As per UNICEF India figures of 2015, only 65% infants were fed for more than 6 months, exclusively breastfed, and 45% of infants undergo timely initiation of breastfeeding. By providing adequate breastfeeding, breaks, and comfortable facilities, the employee promotes employee satisfaction, loyalty, retention, and working patients. The breastfeeding journeys are more likely to return to work after maternity, reducing recruitment and training costs. The World Breastfeeding Week highlights over 100 million employed women lack maternity production in national level. Only 20% of countries mandate employers to offer paid breaks. Less than half of the infants under 6 months are exclusively breastfed. 60% of mothers do not breastfeed the prescribed due to a very alarming thing, and this shows, and it is more so in India. Support by WHO, UNICEF, various health ministries, and civil society, they aim to address the challenges faced by women who must choose between the work and the child. This year's scheme focuses on breastfeeding and work, advocating for essential maternity rights that support breastfeeding. The World Alliance of Breastfeeding Action, the W Breastfeeding Week, is a global campaign started in 1992. So almost 92 means almost 30 years, August 1st to 8th every year. It raises awareness and galvanizing action in themes related to breastfeeding. And of course, as I told you, this time it is for the working parents. Showcase a paid leave, working place support, emerging parenting. As I told you, 30 years back it was only 1 month leave, then it was increased to 2 months, now it is comfortable 6 months. In places like Canada, you and America, they get 6 months leave for paid, and 6 months you get non-paid leave. If you want, you can take without salary, but your job is not lost. But here you are supposed to go back to work even within 6 weeks to 8 weeks in some of the companies. The objective of this year's week work is inform people about working parents' perspectives, anchor optimal paid leave and workplace support, important tools to enable breastfeeding, engage with individuals and organizations, enhance collaboration and support of breastfeeding, and galvanize action on improving working conditions, relevant support for breastfeeding. That is what we are now trying to do. The problem is, WHO says all babies should be exclusively breastfed for 6 months. We all know that. Then gradually introduce to appropriate food after 6 months while continuing to give breast milk for 2 years or beyond. Stopping a breastfeeding is called weaning. It is up to you and your baby to decide when you want to do it. But it is always preferred to give breast milk up to 1.5 to 2 years. I went to US once, 15 years back, and I met one very senior software professional, and she was around I think 32 years that time, and she was saying, I'm having a child which is around 8 months. I joined back duty within 6 weeks, but I'm feeding my baby because I pump out, I keep the milk in the fridge and I feed it. My old mother is there, she gives the milk. When I come back, again I give the feed. I was surprised. Such things are not there. I think you all can imagine how many of our so-called big hospitals are having any place where the mother can sit and feed the baby? No. So why is breastfeeding low in India? Aggressive promotion of baby foods. This is one thing. The moment baby is born, I'm sorry to say, few of the pediatricians encourage the formula feed. They said just start giving the milk is not sufficient. So this is one thing which is actually causing the mother not to have a flow of milk. Lack of support to women in the family and in the workplaces, inadequate healthcare support, poor awareness among city dwellers, the benefits of prolonged breastfeeding. There are many well-to-do people, so very well, so-called very educated people, they feel that breastfeeding is something ugly, they lose their shape and they should not be doing it. That's wrong. Once you feed the baby, actually, you are having so many benefits of your own self and the baby. So overall, policy and programs are very important. There are some of the reasons because of which infant and young children feeding practice indicators are not shown consistent rates. One should know the importance of breastfeeding in the workplace. Breast milk is a complete and balanced source of nutrition, contains vital antibodies that protect infant against various diseases, especially obesity. By supporting breastfeeding in the workplace, the employers indirectly contribute to the employees and their children, also fostering a healthier future generation. Can potentially reduce the time of working parents need to care the sick child. If the child is almost there, actually, as per the rule, if you have more than 50 employees, you are supposed to have a crush. But how many places are having? I have hardly seen, unless only in places very big companies only you see a crush or a place where you sit and feed the baby. This is hardly it is seen not even in our own hospitals. For parents, contribute to more successful work-life balance in the critical condition childhood and improve their mental health. The protective effects of breastfeeding extend well beyond infancy, contributing to better long-term health outcomes of children. And breastfed children are supposed to be very intelligent and very sharp, and their health-wise they are very good. The long-term health breastfeeding mothers is one of the best ways to protect against later like obesity, type 1 diabetes, celiac disease, inflammatory bowel disease, childhood cancer, even later cardiovascular risk factors, carcinoma. Improved sleep, postpartum depression is another very important thing that can be beneficial by giving breastfeeding. And you have a very strong bonding between you and your child. And uterine involution is one thing which is very useful. So this is how a working lady keeping the child, keeping the she's also in a Zoom meeting now. So she has to concentrate between these two. It should not be that taxing to the mother. So three main themes of breastfeeding of working ladies is, one is perception of breastfeeding towards breastfeeding for types and towards infant formulas. And she should have challenges in breastfeeding is related to perceiving insufficient milk. She is always scared whether she is able to give the baby complete milk or not. And breastfeeding difficulties. If she is not feeding properly, she may develop breast abscess, she may soreness of breast, or there can be swelling. And support of breastfeeding, internal support from the spouse and family is very important. External support from friends, employer, and healthcare system. These are a few other tips a working mother can have. How long mothers need to feed the pump? At least 15 to 30 minutes. How do a mother feed when she is away from the child? See, this is another thing it should be advocated. The pumping breast milk while baby is napping or being looked after by others. In the office itself, they should have a room where they can go to a corner. There's a decent, at least a small room, which is well ventilated. It is very not in the toilet or in a sweeper's room. You should have a sufficient room where they can sit. And nowadays, small pumps breast pumps are available. So they can pump out the blood every half an hour or every 2 hours as per the breast milk they are getting. That can be stored. The stored milk can be there at room temperature to 4 to 6 hours. If it is kept in the fridge, it can be given for 1 day. If it is deep fridge, it can be given for 6 months to 8 months. So this should be told to the patient and they should be encouraged to pump out their blood. By 6 weeks, make your baby used to bottle. If you are a working lady, though you are giving your own milk, just make the baby drink with the bottle so that she gets used to drinking no mother milk, but with water, so that the who is a helper at home, the mother or grandmother or servant or husband can feed the baby the mother's milk only with the bottle. So help your baby adjust to taking breast milk from bottle or cup. And it may be hard to keep a regular pumping schedule at work. So then try expressing small amounts of milk during quick feed. You try to press out the milk, it may be painful. So if you breast pumps are very good things. This can maintain milk production better than going for a long period without expressing any milk. It has been observed that younger women are less likely to breastfeed than older mothers. Why? But how can we change these numbers? Creating a safe breastfeeding environment. All women, regardless of profession, should have at least 18 weeks paid maternity leave, ideally more than 6 months. Paid time off for breastfeeding or expressing milk when they come back to work. Flexible options for returning to work. To achieve these goals, policymakers should enact legislation mandating minimum 18 weeks of paid maternity leave and ideally exceeding 6 months. Nowadays, most of the companies are having 6 months leave. Ensure that employers offer paid time off and provide dedicated space for the breastfeeding after maternity leave period. Guarantee that all women, including those in the informal sectors or on limited contracts, have access to maternity entitlement. It is a rule that if you have more than 50 employees in your organization, you must have a crush and you must have a place where the mother can sit and feed the baby. But how many are having? This is India. So the problem is still persisting. I am just was thinking, is there a feeding room or a crush in my own hospital? I don't know. Address employment related discrimination against women and after pregnancy and child. When they return to work, no matter how old the infant is, the mother needs support. It can link breastfeeding rooms, paid nursing breaks, breastfeeding environment, and culture and low-cost interventions. And by examining economic benefits, healthier children, improved sleep, breastfeeding, we can appreciate the profound impact it has on the lives of the parents. Breastfeeding reduces the risk of childhood illness, as I told you, leading to fewer medical expenses. And additionally, families who breastfeed can save money on the formula feed, feeding equipment, medical expenses, financial stability, washings, and autoclaving them, feeding them. All this is not there. The child doesn't develop any diarrhea, and there is no thing. When somebody was asking, how do you know the baby has taken full milk? The baby feeds on the mother and doesn't disturb her for at least minimum 2 hours. It is indicated that baby is having sufficient weight. And the second thing is the baby putting on weight. This baby is not losing weight, at least we are happy in the first few days that she is having sufficient weight. So policies are implementing family-friendly policies that support breastfeeding, promote breastfeeding support. UNICEF identified 4 critical policies: sufficient paid leave, support for exclusive breastfeeding, accessible child care and early education, child benefits and adequate wages. These policies ensure that parents and caregivers have a necessary time, resources, and services to recover from childbirth, established breastfeeding. Actually, if Prasanna doesn't feel bad telling me, she was very much worried that she's going to have a child and she's not having leave, she's going to write the exam. I always tell my PGs, there's nothing for you to lose anything. We are having 6 months leave. Enjoy a leave and take care of your child. Like casually you can come and join and you can look after your child. Your seat or your job is not going to go there nowadays. That was not the condition when we were studying. So please take care of our children. And a working lady is always stressed. So the additional burden should not be there about leaving the child without the breastfeeding. So what are the support guidelines for breastfeeding? Infants should be breastfed on demand. That is as and when it has, not that you say 3 hours time and you start feeding. No bottles, teats or pacifiers should be used. And that is one thing I heard one pediatrician telling me once. These pacifiers are things which are going to kill the child. Because they feed, many times you see the pacifiers in the mouth, they are again, the child puts it down, again gives it back. That leads diarrhea, it can be fatal also. So children should begin eating from safe things, and proper push of baby is very important when you are eating. As you know, this football hold, so all the different methods by which you can hold the baby and feed. As the mother and the child feels comfortable, you can use the method. As an obstetrician, you have to see antenatally whether they have retracted nipples, if there are any inverted nipples, or there cracked nipples are there. You should train them during antenatal period itself how to clean the nipples as they are having bath and then express the liquid that comes out. And we should be made ready to keep the mother ready for giving the breast milk. And you should correct anemia because that is one of the things which causes decreased milk supply. Educate health awareness, educate regarding importance of breastfeeding should be there throughout whenever the patient comes. Postnatally start breastfeeding as early as possible. Video section, immediately on the table itself, you make the baby suckle so that the bonding starts there and the stimulation also starts there. And postnatal support also should. If you are working from home, you are a luxury nowadays. But still, as I told you in the picture, she'll be having the baby in one hand, laptop in one hand. So, if your setup should be there in the home, nursing pillows often help when it comes to infants. Be sure you have an easy access to everything you need because you're on a call, the baby cries, you're having the baby, you want water, you want this thing, you should not run around. So, you should have everything, your phone, laptop, your earbuds for the baby under cleaning. To summarize, optimal approach for feeding infants and young children is exclusive breastfeeding at least for 6 months, following by a continued breastfeeding for next 2 years alongside appropriate extra feeds. Increasing breastfeeding rates to near universal levels could prevent almost 823 lives. This year, World Breastfeeding Week serves as a global platform to raise the awareness, promote benefits and breastfeeding, particularly in the working parents. By understanding the economic benefits, healthier children, improved association with breastfeeding, you can appreciate the significance of enabling work combining with breastfeeding. So, supporting breastfeeding through comprehensive health workplace policies benefits both the employee and the employer, creating win-win situation. This the employee definitely feels, see, he is so concentrated, is allowing my baby to feed my baby, baby is here only not run. Or she can pump out the milk and keep in a fridge and take home and give it to the mother when she is not there. So, this type of bonding will be there even between employee and the employer. As we celebrate World Breastfeeding Week, let us strive to create an environment that enables working parents to continue their breastfeeding journey, making a positive difference in their lives of families and communities. Factors that influence breastfeeding, as I told you, breast milk is the best for the babies. The type of job affects the practice of breastfeeding. Employer role is providing facilities such as special rooms, distance from the place where he is working, and the feeding room should be quite close. Flexible hours for mothers to express the milk. Having insufficient breast milk, engorged breasts, and pain during breastfeeding may be the cause, so it has to be attended to. Formula milk advertisement is one thing. They say the formula milk is very something. Fortified is all the things, and sometimes most of the people think instead of giving this milk, we don't know how healthy it is. Let her go for the formula milk. This highlights the additional content formula, increase baby's intelligence, thus affect mother's confidence in breastfeeding. So now that's the reason now on the all formula feed, it should be written in a bold letters that mother's milk is best for the child. Support from your spouse and families is a major factor. Taking care of the baby when the mothers are working not only needs verbal support, but the attitude towards the helping with housework while the mothers are breastfeeding also very important. Both the mother, the mother-in-law, husband and the sisters, all family together, they give support. The person feels like going for the job again with confidence, thinking that her child is being taken care of. Healthcare provider and employers affect mothers' emotional well-being in the breastfeeding practice. Most working mothers felt they received great support from the healthcare staff, especially during the child. Workplace support, employment issues such as workplace facilities and having a job with flexible hours are a boon to the patient. Support from friends, employers, healthcare staff indirectly plays a major role. Facilities provided by our employer makes it easier for the staff to express the milk. A separate clean room with ventilation, privacy, fridge to give the milk, and time given to pump or market things which should be given. The breastfeeding support for Indian mothers. It is an organization. It is a Facebook thing. In that link, it gives lots of support, suggestions, guides, and connects with peer group. And anybody can join and get always the right advices. But as I told you, everything should be taken with a pinch of salt because it's an organization with all everybody is there. So the medical advice should always be taken. It cannot get good moral and definitive advice. Anybody can register and share one's views. The BSIM is doing great job encouraging mothers to give prolonged breastfeeding. If they are having any problems also, they are ready to help. And they are having actually with them a certified lactation specialist also. To conclude, overcome barriers to breastfeeding among working mothers requires a comprehensive approach involving policymakers, employers, healthcare people, and society as a whole. By implementing essential maternity protections, promoting breastfeeding in workplaces, raising awareness, challenging social norms, we can create an environment that empowers all women to make the best choice for their health and the well-being of the children. Together, we can pave the way to improve breastfeeding rates and create healthier future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for that elaborated discussion and description regarding the breastfeeding for working women. And we need to have a lot of changes in the society as well as working place. Thank you, madam. We'll take up question and answer after the second topic. I now invite Dr. Yashovant Rao, Professor Pediatrics, RIMS Medical College, Mulug, Medak District. His area of interest is in hematology, infectious diseases, and general pediatrics. He had 6 publications in national journals, active member in CLAP, executive body member, and joint secretary FBS IAP, President IAP Telangana State. Over to you, Dr. Yashovant. And I also request you to introduce the second speaker, Dr. Surendranath sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And let me acknowledge Dr. Tripura Sundari, ma'am. I also was benefited because of madam. Madam was talking and Lakshmi Prasanna required that 6 months support. We really had that support from you.
Yes, ma'am. We never forget that help.
And as a pediatrician and obstetrician, we both have a role in helping working women to get that additional amount of emotional and physical support to sustain breastfeeding. And we all know this is an annual event every year between August 1st to 7th, which is promoted by IAP, FOXY, IMA and all the branches. Basically, we do all these programs to give adequate support to the parents, mothers, to empower mothers' knowledge, resources which are available. As madam was saying, there's this group, I never knew this. So we all were taught in undergraduation that breast milk is the first vaccine. But in spite of all our efforts, we still fail to initiate breastfeeding within first hour. The NFHS data 4 and 5 still show that it is only 37.1% in spite of both pediatricians and obstetrician support for breastfeeding. Though the institutional deliveries have improved significantly till 100%. Recently, Mr. Harish Rao was saying that this is the first state acknowledged by Government of India. So we also have a role that as a pediatrician and obstetricians, we should take both that. We should initiate breastfeed within the first hour. Skin-to-skin contact should be encouraged, and see that all the misconceptions are relieved. Coming to our Dr. Surendranath sir is now the NNF Telangana State President. He is presently the HOD of Vijay Mary Hospital at Khairtabad. He is a retired civil surgeon and a postgraduate from Gandhi Medical College. He is the past president of IAP Telangana State. His areas of interest are newborn, and this is very apt that he is going to talk on breastfeeding. We have started our breastfeeding week in the morning. Over to Dr. Surendranath for his comments and
Good evening, all of you. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Surendra sir.
Okay. I thank the IMA people for inviting for today's breastfeeding week first day program.
Sir,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
please make it full screen, sir.
Yeah. Now it is full screen. Madam has almost covered 90% of my talk. In fact, Madam has covered excellently.
Sorry.
The thing is that in spite of doing breastfeeding weeks, almost we have been doing since almost 30 years now, 30, 40 years. But the percentage of the breastfeeding during the first 1 hour and exclusive breastfeeding still at a very low figures. In fact, feeding during the first 1 hour is almost, it is only 40%. That means 60% of the babies do not get the breast milk during the first 1 hour, which is very essential as far as prolonging the breastfeeding is concerned or motivating the mother is concerned. That first 1 hour feeding is very essential. So what we do is in a normal delivery or cesarean sections also, we can start the breastfeeding within 1 hour after the delivery. So skin to skin contact has become an essential part of neonatal care now. Immediately after delivery, baby should be, after reviving the baby should be kept on the breast so that baby herself will search for the nipple and take the nipple into the mouth and start sucking. This is very well known as a breast crawl. So this has to be practiced in all the deliveries. Their institutional deliveries are happening now, and we are all allowing the most of the, one of the companion also allowed nowadays. I think Madam agrees that nowadays we have a beautiful labor rooms after the renovation happened in most of the district hospitals or maternity center. So I think we can have a companion during the delivery time and initiate the breastfeeding during first 1 hour. That will help us a lot because the colostrum is most of the time with the myth of that milk is not good. Most of the times in the rural villages, they remove the milk and throw it away. But the colostrum is the first vaccination for the baby. So we have to insist on feeding the baby within 1 hour after the delivery. Even after the cesareans also, it can be done during the process of cesareans while suturing also. Baby can be put on the breast by another
Your
person.
slides are not moving, sir.
No, I have not started moving the slides. I am only giving the introduction on the Madam's talk. So to raise the exclusive breastfeeding and initial 1 hour breastfeeding, I think we have to take a very good plan and start motivating the people who are delivering or doing the cesarean sections to start the breastfeeding in 1 hour after the delivery. So coming to the breastfeeding week, Madam has already explained what is the theme of this year breastfeeding. So basically, most of the women are working now. Working women are not only in the cities, working women are there in the rural areas also. But fortunately, in a low socioeconomic and rural areas, who take the baby to the working areas. So they do feed, they carry the baby, do the work simultaneously. But what happens in the cities, most of the offices may not provide the space for the mothers to breastfeed. And these things will be tackled, as Madam told very clearly. This year is concentrating on the working parents, make a difference for working parents. This is the theme of the 2023 breastfeeding week. So coming to the, are you able to see the moving slides now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We know that more than 500 million working women are not given essential maternity protection in the national laws. So very few countries have these national laws, and for some time we had only 3 months of maternity leave. When I was in service, And my wife delivered, it is only 3 months of maternity leave. Fortunately, it has been increased up 6 months now. 6 months maternity leave is a very real boon to the feeding. So still 500 million people, working women, do not have facilities of the maternal protection in the national. This is an international statistics. Madam has already told that 20% of countries require employers to provide employees with the paid breaks and facilities for the breastfeeding and expressing the breastfeeding. This is very essential. So only 20% of the countries are able to provide these facilities to the working mother. And fewer than half of the infants under 6 months of age are exclusively breastfed. As I told you, 50% of the people, 50% of the infants born are fed exclusively on the breastfeed first 6 months. So, marketing of the breast substitutes negatively affect the breastfeeding. We know that. Global sales in 2014 figure shows that it is almost about 44.8 billions. So the industry's large competitive claim on the infant feeding. So the amount of formula purchased is almost about 44.8 billion US dollars are spent buying the formula feed. So the industry is definitely going to be benefited. They will be very aggressively marketing it. Not only they are trying to compete with the breast milk also. Non-breastfeeding is associated with lower intelligence and economic losses about 302 billion annually and 0.49 of the world's gross national income. This is a huge figure. It is showing that breastfeeding, if you don't feed the breast child, he will have an IQ of about 10 to 20 compared to the more than compared to the bottle-fed children. And not only that, the earning capacity of the breastfed child was found to be better than a bottle-fed child. This is evidence is there for this. So not only that, breastfeeding provides short-term, long-term health and economic environmental advantage to children, women, and the society at large. So it is definitely helpful for all the society, children, women, not only health-wise, environmentally also. Pollution can be reduced if you give exclusive breastfeeding. So this is a picture which has been promoted by the WHO. Women everywhere need a paid maternity leave. So everywhere in all the countries this formula should be followed. They should have a paid maternity leave. And all women should have at least 18 weeks, preferably 6 months paid maternity leave, which has emphasized by the madam in the first talk. Paid time off for the breastfeeding or expressing milk, returning to the work also should be provided to them. So maternity protection improves the woman and children health and well-being after the birth are critical for the breastfeeding. So breastfeeding is easier, we know that. It is easier than it is practiced. So most of the times we think that it's simple, but we make it complicated. And if of all the species, it is a human being which has to be trained about the breastfeeding. Whereas all other species, by birth, they have an advantage that even with the training also they take their mom's milk. Whereas the human requires a lot of training, not only that, a lot of emotional support is required for the new mother who is not aware of breastfeeding practices. So support and the dedicated time and the space to breastfeed or breast milk, definitely it is going to improve the breastfeeding. So early initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour is essential, as I told you. Exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months of the life is essential. And after 6 months, it is not the weaning. Now the word has been changed. We are not weaning from the breastfeeding. It is a complementary if solids are given at 6 months. That means you continue the breastfeeding. In addition to that, complementary feedings are started. Breastfeeding can be continued up to 2 years minimum and beyond also. So exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months has many benefits for the infant and the mother. Madam has already highlighted points. I'll just go through them. And chief among them is again a protection against gastrointestinal infections, not only in the developing countries but also industrialized countries. Also gastrointestinal infections are more common with breastfed, bottle-fed children. And there is one more thing, even the respiratory infections are also found to be very less when the baby is given exclusive breastfeeding, because breast milk has a lot of immunoglobulins and disease protecting agents, which will definitely help to reduce the respiratory infections also in the child. Early initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour protects the newborn from acquiring infections and reduces the newborn mortality. There is enough evidence which is showing that this low-cost measure of early
Yashovat?
He has lost his connection. Probably he'll come back.
Yeah, we'll wait for him.
Yeah, we'll wait for him.
Good evening, Amuja madam. You are muted.
He'll be joining back, ma'am. There is a problem in his laptop. He'll be joining.
Okay.
I think if somebody has questions, let them type in the chat box. Madam can take questions.
Yes. So far, there are no
Please
questions.
type any
I just wanted
questions.
to ask everybody, how many of your hospitals are having a feeding room or a pumping room or a creche? I don't have one in my hospital. Anybody is having?
Yeah, ma'am. I am in medical college, ma'am. We have a separate room by OP side, breastfeeding room, and we have crèche also in our hospital setup.
Which hospital, sir?
Medical college has that.
Which hospital, sir?
RVM Medical College, madam. Towards Gajwel. So we have in the OP, by OP side only, we have a very good breastfeeding room. Kamineni has that. I've seen Kamineni also. I was in Kamineni. We have a very good breastfeeding room.
In all private colleges have it because it has to be by norms.
It is an NABH norm and it was NMC norm also. Yeah, Surendra sir has joined. Namaste Venkateshwar Rao sir.
Namaste, sir. Namaste. Namaste, Yashwant sir. Good job. Yeah.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Keep it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Sorry,
awareness.
sorry for the disturbance.
Sir, you can go ahead.
So coming to the prevention of infections, we all know that. So definitely first one, breastfeeding rates have improved the neonatal mortality. Definitely it has reduced the neonatal mortality. Diarrhea we have already discussed. I will not go into the details. Madam has clearly told. Just a minute. So breast milk also parts a very important source of energy and nutrients for the children between 6 to 23 months. We think that after 6 months, giving the solids is essential, but at the same time, continuing the breastfeeding is also essential because it can provide half or more of the child's energy needs between the ages that is 6 to 12 months. Between 6 to 12 months, half of the energy needs are met by the breast milk, half of the energy needs are met by the milk. So after 1 year also, continuing breastfeeding can meet about 1/3 of energy requirements of the child. That means between 1 to 2 years also definitely breastfeeding is going to help. So breast milk is also critical source of energy during the illness and reduces the mortality among the children who are malnourished. So what happens is even during the diarrhea, giving breastfeeding will definitely make the child to improve very quickly. Not only that, there will not be any loss of the weight or malnutrition in the child. So, and during the illness also, feeding from the breast is definitely reduces the morbidity and malnutrition in the child. Obesity we have already discussed. Breast milk is definitely will reduce the obesity in the child. Not only that, the obesity in the mother is also reduced because while feeding there will be whatever amount of the fat which is deposited during the pregnancy definitely will reduce for a breastfed for mother. They perform better on intelligence tests, have a higher school attendance. So higher school attendance is because of reduced infection, which in turn leads to the better performance of the child in the school. So a breastfed child is definitely perform well in the school, and school absenteeism also less in the breastfed. And there are enough studies which have shown that breastfeeding is associated with higher income as an adult life. As the child grows also, compared to a person who is bottle fed, the person who is fed from the breast is definitely going to earn more out of his livelihood. So improving the child's development, reducing the health cost results in economic gains for the individual families as well as for the national level. So we have a better children in future for the nation and who are likely to have less infection and less morbidity will be there, and at the same time the output of the work will be better as an adult who is breastfed. So longer duration of breastfeeding also contributes to the health and well-being of the mother, which is elaborately discussed by the madam. We know that it also reduces chances of pregnancy and reduces the chances of malignancy of the breast. So IAP has been always in the forefront for promoting the breastfeeding. IAP and NNF are in the forefront along with the UNICEF. Now we have started a baby-friendly hospital initiative. There are 10 steps of successful breastfeeding which has to be implemented by the hospitals. So there will be a team will come and assess whether these practices are done by individual hospitals, and they are given a baby-friendly hospital initiative. This has been started long before, and now again I think UNICEF has started along with the IYCM chapter of pediatrics. I mean Central IAP, they have started assessing the hospitals for the baby-friendly hospital initiative recognition. So what are the 10 things which are required for a baby-friendly hospital? The skin-to-skin contact between the mother and the baby immediately after birth and initiation of breastfeeding within the first hour of the life. And the breastfeeding should be on demand whenever child needs and wants, whether it is day or night. And rooming in should be there. Always immediately after delivery, baby should not be separated from the mother. He should be kept in the mother's room, preferably on the mother's cot. And rooming in should be practiced. Remain together. The baby should remain with the mother 24 hours a day. Unless a baby is sick, she requires admission into NICU. And we should not give any additional food or drink, even water, unless medically necessary. And pre-lactal feeds which are given as some of the mothers do giving some honey or sugar water before giving the breastfeeding. These are known as pre-lactal feeds. This should be avoided because they lead to some of the complications. Sometimes very serious problems also can occur with pre-lactal feeds. And provision of supportive health services with infant and young child feeding counseling during all contacts with the caregivers and young children, such as during the antenatal, postnatal care, well child and sick child visits and immunization. Whenever they come to the hospital during the well child visit or sick child visit or immunization period, inquire about the breastfeeding, whether giving it properly or not, either whether the weight gain of the child program. Community support, including mother support, groups and community-based health promotion educational activities are very essential. because participation of the community is very essential to continue the breastfeeding. So coming to the HIV and the breastfeeding, Madam has just touched on the HIV part, but WHO has come up with a HIV and breastfeeding policy very clearly. What it says that breastfeeding, especially early exclusive breastfeeding, is one of the most significant ways to improve the infant survival. So while HIV can pass from mother to the child during pregnancy, during the labor, or during the delivery, and also through the breast milk, the evidence on HIV and infant feeding shows that giving antiretroviral treatment to the mother living with HIV significantly reduces the risk of transmission through the breastfeeding and also improves her health. That means the mother having HIV who is already on treatment with the ART can breastfeed the child because the transmission of the virus from the breastfeeding to the mother is very less. So WHO now recommends that all the people living with HIV, including pregnant women and the lactating mothers living with HIV, take ART for life from when they first learn that they are positive for the HIV. So with this recommendation, what they have told is you can continue the breastfeeding if the mother is on ART treatment. And keeping the morbidity, mortality due to diarrhea, pneumonia, malnutrition, and the process, breastfeeding should be exclusively breastfed for the baby's first 6 months, and then introduce appropriate complementary feeds, continue breastfeeding up to at least child's first birthday, even in HIV positive mothers. So I'll conclude my talk. As a senior person, we have seen so many decades of breastfeeding which is not improving. What are the tips for successful breastfeeding? That's some of the tips they have written. During the pregnancy, always face-to-face encounter where the doctor should be there with the mother. Counseling of the family members and the spouses is very important during the antenatal period. Husband plays a very important role. Counseling the husband is also very important. Apart from the husband, the grandmother, the mother-in-law, mother of the... these are the people who are going to dictate their terms after the delivery at the home. Discuss the advantages of the breastfeeding. Myths and misbeliefs and what not to do should be discussed. So, giving colostrum is one of the best things, and you should tell them that first 1 hour if you feed, your baby will not have any infections and he will be less likely to have any chances of infection. So, breast examination should be done. Do not judge depending on the nipple or breast. Don't discourage the mother if retracted nipple is there. Position latching, early cues of hunger should be discussed with the mother during the antenatal period. Support of the spouse and family members. Suitable dress for the breastfeeding is essential. Nowadays they have special dresses for the breastfeeding. Those type of dresses should be purchased and kept ready for the breastfeeding. Be friendly with your obstetrician. Obstetrician should always be very friendly with the patient. Coming to the delivery room management, as I told you, breastfeeding and skin-to-skin contact should be started in the delivery room. Initiate breastfeeding within 1 month of the delivery. No pre-lactal feeds. Grooming in of the baby is very essential. Demonstrate the position, good attachment after shifting from the delivery room. So once the mother is shifted from the delivery room, you should always sit with the mother. Help her to keep in a good position, good attachment, good latching should be there, so that the mother will not have any difficulty or pain while feeding. So these things can be done in the postnatal wards. With a special, lactational specialists are there now. You can take their help, or you can train your nursing staff, or you can train your interns who have more time to spend with the mother. The consultant may not have that much of a time. You should train your sisters, and they should learn how to tell the mothers about the position and good attachment for the successful breastfeeding. So the postnatal management, colostrum as a first vaccine should be given, and always counsel the anxious and over-enthusiastic families. I've seen that most of the grandmothers always feel that mother will not get any milk for the first day. The baby always requires an extra milk, which is a myth. In fact, we should try to explain them the first day the stomach of the baby is very small. So whatever 1 or 2 ml of colostrum is, that is enough. there is absolutely no need to start any extra milk on the day one, because this is where the failure starts. Once you write a formula, they will try to carry it to the home and continue the formula after that. So please don't write any formula on the day one of the delivery, because we know that first day only the cholesterol milk, whatever amount of the milk is enough for the day. So we have to counsel the enthusiastic, over enthusiastic families who try to dominate you and give ask for the bottle or formula milk. Feeding position, post cesarean LSS, mother may have pain at the incision site, so the football position or a laid back position can be practiced for the LS mothers. Checking the latching and position for feeding and breast and nipple is very essential in the postnatal wards. Unless we do it regularly, the mother may not know how to hold the baby, how to latch the baby. That can lead to the problems in the breast. Not only that, child will be irritable and crying more because he doesn't get enough feed if proper latching is needed. And the healthcare personnel should have a high threshold for advising the formula feeds. It is the last thing to be advised. So try to assess whether the baby is passing stool 5 to 10 times during the initial period, or more than 6 times whether the child is passing urine, whether the child is gaining weight after 2 weeks, because by the end of the 2 weeks, child should be same as the birth weight. So initial 10% of weight loss should be recovered by the end of the 2 weeks. So if these things are there, you can easily convince the mother, and always give some time to the mother. Let her express her doubts. Let us express her anxiety or fears to you. Then you can counsel after understanding the fears of the mother. So always have a high threshold for advising the partner. Says, my child is not getting enough feed. The moment you hear that if you start prescribing the formula feed, breastfeeding will definitely suffer. So no pacifiers and bottles. Kangaroo mother care is definitely going to help for the preterm babies and babies who require a little care in the sick nurseries. KMC can be practiced, which will definitely improve the breastfeeding rate. Maternal diet, madam has already told. Working mother, counseling is very important for these people because these people are very anxious when they go to the work, and they should have a proper place for the feeding or expressing the milk or keeping the milk. Madam has very clearly told how a working mother problems can be solved with the employer. Not only that, the policy maker should take and make it mandatory for the employers to provide all. So, with this, I wanted to conclude. I wanted to highlight what are the things which are to be done as far as improving the breastfeeding is concerned. Very much for the opportunity, and I'll stop sharing the slides now. I think I have covered a little bit as far as the pediatric point of view, and madam has already covered most of the points, so I didn't stress upon that. Thank you.
Sir, there is a question from KVLN regarding surrogacy, feeding and surrogacy.
There are certain situations where we can't help it. I mean, what is happening is surrogacy